Good morning, everybody. I'm Charlie Bourne, practitioner for today, and in service with me is Shirley Wade. And so we're available for prayer after service. But we're going to start off today with a song, opening song by George Rogers, who you just heard. But formally, George Rogers. Thank you for being here, George.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. It's good to see all of you here. It's good to be seen, actually. So, this song is a song written by this one I think is important. Are we back on? It's called The River Knows Your Name.
Thank you, George. That warms my soul. And so also, George, I really appreciate you playing before service. It's nice to hear you coming in, So thank you. So we're going to have Judy play the children up on stage for the face of God. And then we'll, but at the same time, just turn around and face the camera. We have a lot of people all around the world watching us, either on YouTube or Facebook Live, and we don't know how many people watch during the week, but we're going to figure out how to count that. Hello. I was trying to do a funny, like she was the oldest kid. She's up here to do the prayer in a few minutes. So thanks for coming this morning. It's a beautiful morning, and it's wonderful that you're here with us, and then you go out and enjoy the rest of the day. And so if we have any newcomers today, I'd like to, if you want to raise your hand, we'll bring you a packet. Otherwise, you can pick one up on your way out. And also, if you have a friend or a neighbor that you'd like to bring with you to service, pick up a packet, give it to them, and then invite them to come in. It's been shown that the best way to increase attendance is to invite a friend and then come with them. And it's a wonderful way to build community as well. So I'd like to thank everybody in service. We have Joey in the sound booth assisting Lindy, who's going to be her, she's going to be the second sound person. So it's great. So it's wonderful to have another sound person. So thank you, Joey. We appreciate it. And then also we have the kitchen cookies, and we have wonderful snacks in the back, after service. And then we have our musicians today, which we always enjoy. So a few announcements. So the men's group with Roy Wolfstad is tomorrow night at 7 to 9 here in the center. Reverend Sue has Sacred Sisters 7 to 9, also here at the center. And also we have a caregiver support group with Reverend Dr. Mary Mitchell Thursday, October 13th, 10 a.m. to noon here at the center. And then we have our favorite spiritual music jam that's coming Friday night, led by Michael Harris and Steve Smith. And so that's 7 o'clock here, and every time we're always amazed by what comes out of this circle, and so the music that goes on here stays here, but actually it reverberates into this room and helps build the wonderful consciousness that we have in here. So you don't have to be a musician. You can bring any kind of instrument you want. You can bring your voice. You can do anything you want, but it's really a wonderful experience. And then we're going to be honoring Nancy Purnell next Saturday at 2 o'clock. And so many of you know Nancy, and she gave a wonderful service to this community. I remember Nancy and I picking out that wood table in the back room and bringing it here. And if you go around the labyrinth, Nancy was the one who designed all the plantings and everything around the labyrinth and that look and the trees and everything. So Nancy fills the center, and her heart is here with us. And so it's a celebration of life next Saturday. And it's going to be officiated by Reverend Sue, Reverend Pam Sanchez, Dr. Mary, Lynn Fritz, and Reverend Helen Cummings from the Buddhist tradition. So it's going to be a beautiful service, and even if you don't know Nancy, come anyway. It'll be a life-changing service. So we have an exploring membership meeting with Dr. Mary next Sunday right after service. And last, we have the last SOAR Spirit of Adventure Week renewed weekend next Saturday, October 22nd. And they're going to hike to Cabin Creek Trail in McLeod. It's a beautiful time of year to have that occur. So with that, I'm going to invite Reverend Sue up. And she's on her way up.
So, good morning. Good to see you. This month we have dedicated to our financial good, and I wanted to share something before I invite Steve Smith forward. So, Steve, if you want to start coming up to the stage, he's going to have a testimony to share with you. But something that Deepak Chopra says, and I'll touch upon it just a little bit in his book about the spiritual laws of success. He talks about the flow, and that's the message today. He talks about the rivers always flowing, so much of what George's beautiful music was a testimony to. But think about this. He talks about our circulation in our body is always in flow. And if we're not paying attention, if we are not letting something flow, it becomes stagnant. And we know that our health is compromised when we don't allow our blood systems to just flow. Things begin to clot. So always, always, we're turning to the wonder and the amazement of the divine, of nature, and how everything is a mirrored reflection for us to pay attention to and to recognize that they were always in that flow, always in the flow. And he says, like a river, money must keep flowing. Otherwise, it begins to stagnate, clog, suffocate, strangle its very own life force. Circulation keeps it alive and vital. A sweet message to take home in your heart. And now we're going to invite Steve to the stage, and he's going to give you a testimony of why he belongs to our stewardship program. Stephen.
Good morning. I've been thinking about why we belong to the spiritual program and give, and all I could think about was ice cream. And I tried, and I kept thinking about ice cream. So I said, okay, what's the term? Spiritual prototype of ice cream, or what is the mental equivalent? And I thought, well, it's nourishment. But if it's just nourishment, then I could get a glass of milk and put a little bit of sugar and vanilla and an ice cube in it, and I'd be good, right? But that's not ice cream. Ice cream is something deeper. Ice cream, when I eat ice cream, it's not just the sensation of something cool going in. It's like something inside me is warm, even though it's cold, but it's turning me warm. So that is the mental equivalent of ice cream would be self-nourishment, because you're giving something to yourself a little bit more than just feeding yourself. You're giving yourself a moment after you've eaten everything for nourishment. You give yourself a moment to sit down and eat something simply for the pleasure of being able to touch that deeper place. So I thought about the Center for Spiritual Living, and I said, it's more than just being in a room with a couple of dozen people. I get that at the grocery store. No, it's groups of people that are inspiring and empowering each other to live spiritually fulfilling lives, which is, I don't get that anywhere else. I get it here. And so I don't have a problem giving to this because I'm giving to myself. And it's like the equivalent is I'm giving from me to us. And since we're all giving basically from me to us, it's us giving to us. So the question is, how much fun do we want to have? It's like if we're looking for the truth, how deep do we want to go? Do you want to go as deep as we can? I do. And so this is what I think about when I give and I have an opportunity to give to the church. And it's as thinking of it as church. It's not. I'm a Buddhist, basically. I don't need religion. But what I do need is community, and I need like-minded people, and I need this sense of growth, and a sense that what I'm doing matters. And so when I show up here, I show up because it matters that I show up, that everybody show up, because that's how it becomes us. We got to show up. There's a couple little things I wanted to add. One is this, it's important, what feeds us is what we need to feed. There's a little saying that kind of comes up again for me. What feeds us is what we need to feed. So that's why I give, because I'm enriching myself by giving. So that's it.
Please join with me in remembering that as we sit here in stillness, reflecting on the presence of the divine, one love, one life, one being, all of us joined at the deepest level of consciousness. God is the source of our consciousness and the infinite source of good in our lives, always providing us with opportunities that we need to learn and to grow. We focus this morning on God's grace and the flow of goodness in our lives. Our supply flows to us in many wonderful ways. May show up in dollars, or improved health, or happiness. We may not know for certain what form it will take, but we can be certain that the flow of good is there, waiting for our acceptance and gratitude. And so now we release all worry and any negativity as we look forward to our ability to let the good flow through our lives. And we say, thank you, God. And so it is.
Thank you, Shirley, Judy. I got a present today. Did you guys get one? You will if you listen to this talk. Not this one. But Phoebe, she started it off. It's just been a most amazing week. And she comes to me. I saw her in the park, and I didn't recognize her at first. She had this cute hair and dark sunglasses, and I thought, kind of feels like Phoebe. And then she came in and she gave me some resin from some of the pine on her property for incense and some charcoal to burn it on. It's mine. No, it's just another gift from the divine. So thank you, Phoebe. This is what the mystery is asking us to pay attention to. The mystery of love, how it flows, how we all participate in it when we just settle into that place inside of us that just says, yes, I accept the grace ever flowing. I want to be a part of that. And I was sitting there thinking about the message today, and I thought, I have read just about every book there is on spiritual prosperity and God and money ideas. over the last 30, 40 years. I've read so much material. And then when you see those workshops that they say, come make a fortune, people pack the seats. And I'm thinking, excuse me, we're talking about that here. Come pack the seats. Because what happens when we accept these principles at the depth of our being, life changes, life flows. Life is this abundance that we keep pointing to. So this month, for the Centers for Spiritual Living, we are discussing, money and finances and good. And Deepak Chopra starts, and this is the heading for his particular chapter on flowing and giving. The universe operates through dynamic exchange. Giving and receiving are different aspects of the flow of energy in the universe. In our willingness to give that which we seek, we keep the abundance of the universe continually circulating in our lives. That's exciting. It's an exciting idea. Oh my gosh, I have to pause for a minute. Robin, that's you, and that's your baby, your grandbaby. Oh, and your son. Sorry, hello, son. Oh, that little precious, because when Steve was giving his testimony, we haven't seen Robin for so long, and I just want you to feel this. I haven't. Feel my love. But when that little baby gave a shout out when Steve was talking, did you notice? She's tuned in. Yay, God. I'm right here listening. So anytime she wants to yay on my message, I will accept. So like we were discussing all month, also we launched this, we take care of our stewardship program for preparing for 2023. And we always invite the community to be a part of this good, to be in support of the plans and the visions, because we come to you and ask you first for your support. So last week we started the talks, and I just want to share with you just a brush stroke of my experience this last week. So we left here Sunday after the pet blessing, which was awesome in itself, and then went to see Rich and Kelly at the gym show. Kelly O'Leary was in charge of masterminding the whole event, and it really turned out beautiful. And Rich and her were always welcoming us to join in the gym show. So Charlie and I made our way there, and the first thing they ask you to do is to fill out your door prize coupons. And so Charlie's over there busy doing that, and then we went on to visit with Rich, and then he calls out some numbers. Charlie goes, I won. I accept, I won. So we got to go to the showcase, and other people just went. If they won, they would just grab something they knew and they wanted it. But of course, we had to touch everything. And then we found the right and perfect token to take away. And that was a thrilling moment. Then we went to look at Peggy Herden, who's a friend member here, and she has a lovely, lovely crystals, and I love pendulums, so I said, oh, this is the one I want. And so Charlie's giving out the money, and she said, oh, no, just 15 for you. Really? I accept. Thank you very much. I felt like I was about 6 feet tall, just walking through there. Look out, prosperity consciousness is walking through, and we're ready to spend and to receive. And we went to the back booth, and there was raw citrine, which I loved that. And there was one that was shaped like a heart. And so I said, I want this one. It had a $5 tag. And so Charlie's getting out his $5, and she said, that'll be $3. I said, oh, it says $5. She said $3. Oh, okay, Charlie, $3. Do you have $3? And then she goes, what does the card say? I'm a little embarrassed. The card says $5, $3. And I said, okay, I'll accept. And she goes, I'm boss, $3. So I walked away with this treasure that I thought was already way underpriced. And I wanted to make sure I was being, fair, that maybe somebody didn't push it there. So, yeah, that was just a couple of hours of pure abundance flowing. And we were giving and flowing and giving and flowing. The next day, there was a call from the stewards of the treasurers who are working on the 2023 budget. And I applaud them. That is Jill Ward and Diana Wolfstead. They work tirelessly on looking at our funds here and making sure that we are always in the black and doing really good work and staying ahead of the game. And I applaud them for their diligence and their wisdom. So at the beginning of starting this budget for 2023, I said, I want to invite us into the vision of what do we want here? And I was all excited, like money magnet. And I thought, what do we want to grow here? What do we want to do? Let's dream big. And one of the things that was important to me was to pay forward the people that work here. The stipends that we pay for Judy's piano playing and for the choir and for Bonnie who does the children, it's been at the same level for years. And they never ask for anything. I said, I want to promote that. I want to invest in these people and then raise the hourly wage for those that are hourly, help Lori have a little bit better hourly pay. And so we were looking at all this and looking for the new minister to come in at a higher wage. And so all of this, and they said, well, I want to make sure that the minister has opportunity to go to conferences. And, oh, yeah, I want. And so we were just putting all of the visions down. And then they looked at it carefully and they said, heads up on a few areas here. We're going to have to really stretch. And it was honesty. And I said, I appreciate that. I appreciate what you're telling me. But I'm only day 2 into my excitement and my vision and your vision and our vision collectively. So I said, let's do that part at the end of our campaign for the stewardship. Then we can start making changes that are with great respect for what comes through here and not be so greedy. So we turned that around to empower the center. The next day after that, I got a call from the Paradise Center for Spiritual Living. Now, you might remember Reverend Andy has come in here and spoken many times. That was his church. It was burned down in the fire. And so many of you generously gave gift cards and financial good to their folks at their center and helped to work on helping them to rebuild what they lost. I mean, everything was burned down to the ground, to ash, except the peace pole. I always love things like that. There was another house that everything burnt down, but the tiny tyke house. I thought, well, that's what we should build our houses here of in Redding, is that rubber stuff. So the idea that they were giving us a call because they had made a decision, their board had made a decision that they were going to merge with the Chico Center. They were not going to rebuild. And I felt like I was part of their board, like, oh my gosh, I can imagine the release that they felt not having to do that work. Well, they said the board met, and here comes the grace. Linda gave me a call and said they voted on giving us some money, on paying us back for our generosity from some of the insurance funds to rebuild. And so it was a substantial gift. It arrives tomorrow, and I was just like stunned and overjoyed. Thank you, God, for the gifts of heaven. When this is how it happens, it comes from the most unexpected waves of good flowing. So I asked them, I said, this is so amazing. It was teary, she was teary, she had such joy in sharing this news. And I said, what can we do to support your transition with Chico? How can we help you at all in that? And she said, you already have. And I thought, well, what did we do? And she said, she reminded me, which I already knew, that we had generously supported them during their time of need. But she also said this. She said, Lindsay Purnell Silvera is her massage therapist. That's Jim and Nancy's daughter. And she said, I have watched your center help the family, usher them through the most difficult time of losing Nancy. And she said, we are so excited to support a church that has that big of a heart. And I thought, I just was, again, stunned into silence, moved to a depth, knowing it's not about money. It's about circulating love and allowing now opportunities for this to grow and to help the people in Redding to see a different way of being in their world. So flow in the name of love continues to pour forth. So returning to the theme, our finances can be an area of intense joy, but also struggle at times. But we have to keep remembering, I'm in the flow here. I'm in the flow. And when we spiritualize our greatest understanding of what abundance is and how it relates to financial good, when we really take it into that depth of knowing, then we learn the power of yes. We learn that we can follow through all of our experiences and share an understanding of truth with the world by being in service to all with this level of consciousness. This is the awakening. This is the exhilaration of our spirit when we tap into our truth and we live it. Flow from the universe seen as the infinite abundance, gold dust in the air. Catherine Ponder, there's gold dust in the air. There's substance in the air. And we can partake of that as we open our heart to receive. Abundance comes in the form of financial freedom, love, creative expression, and it carries us through everything, even what appears to be a block. Spirit's everywhere present, always operating, never in itself restricting any of that flow. We do that. We restrict the flow. So we alone hold the beliefs of lack, limitation, and that stink bug not enoughness. Not enoughness can be operating through us so subtly. So we're invited to explore our consciousness, so to discover, well, what are my beliefs? What is still putting a stink on my life right now from my upbringing? And all the ways, how am I choking flow? What does this mean in my world? And why am I tiptoeing around this area instead of dancing and opening my hands, opening my heart to the give and the receive? Financial freedom is one of the greatest demonstrations of your connection to Spirit. It's not buying your way into Spirit. It's accepting and surrendering to the truth. It's the powerful way to see the divine truly is in the center of my life. Now, Science of Mind teaching principles here. Here and now we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? All of it, did I hear you say? A little shyly, all of it? All of it! All of it. And how much of it may we have to use? As much of it as we can embody. That's exciting. Oh, I've been restricting the flow. I thought I only deserved $10. And then you realize, no, I've been trying to give you all that I have. So this idea, Earnest Holmes said, hold steadfastly to the thought that all of life is in a state of eternal flow. Life is flowing into everything, through everything, passing into every human event, translating itself through every human act. Think about the world. If you think of life as flowing through you and flowing through every action that you partake, you will soon discover that the things you give your attention to are quickened with a new energy. You are breathing the very essence of being, divine being, into them. And finally, he says, the will of God for you is the will of a boundless life flowing through you. It is the will of joy, success, happiness, peace, abundance. It is the will of the kingdom of heaven, not absent from this earth, but imperfectly seen. Now, there's a lot there to digest because it's not something that we have to wait for. We declare our truth and our understanding in this moment now. Now, the Science of Mind magazine led me to a book that they were promoting from Dr. Siri Satnam, who wrote a little resource book called The Pocket Guru. I thought, well, I'm a yogi at heart. I got to have that. It arrived and I treasure it. It's a simple little book. But what he says about money is really refreshing. He says money is a commodity that represents value. When we as individuals begin to value ourselves, money, which signifies value, will flow. When you value yourself, money will flow. Interesting. Perhaps there have been times when your family, friends, co-workers, associates devalued you or shamed you. Indeed, that is why we have to delve into the deep-seated, these are his words, repressed psychic material to see what may be lurking within the depths so that we alone can eradicate it and thrive. Key word here, thrive. Who wants to merely survive? He says, allow ourselves to work on the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of our being to heighten the sense of ourself. Our influx of money will be proportionate to our resolve that, yes, we are worthy. Then he shares these power statements that I'm going to go into in just a few moments with you, and to help build that confidence muscle inside of you, to help pattern your new thinking and to change the old thinking. The thinking that we were indoctrinated with when we were so young, fake Barbie dolls, fake Ken dolls, because parents couldn't afford the right ones. Some of us might have felt the shame of hand-me-downs instead of brand new crispy clothes at school. Truth be told, though, we really did like those soft, well-worn, washed clothes better than the big ruffles and things for the men, stiff jeans. So you think about how we have looked at some of these events in our life and the messages that were just heard in the background. There's not enough for that. Be happy with what you have. And it was our parents' effort to raise us without greed, which I think is a very valuable and noble parenting, but no showiness either, not to really appreciate what we were given and to live within means. These are all beautiful life lessons, and it's good stewardship as well. And one way or another, though, there might have been times where we felt that we internalized that. I'm not enough. This is all I have, so I'm not enough. And we worry. And we feel shy and ashamed to ask for anything more than what we got. And we got used to hearing no frequently. Dr. Siri gives us these statements to reinforce our desire to free up this flow. They're very simple. Money comes through my efforts. I love this. My value of self and my creativity. You see, there's a part of doing here. Your creativity is inspired and propelled when you recognize that there is a flow beginning to happen here for you. Money comes when I discipline myself and believe I deserve it. Saying yes. Money's a part of life. Money gives me options. Money is creation. Money can be created. Money is freely given to me. Money comes to me. So these very simple statements of truth to remind us, where is my consciousness? Can I dig up the roots of my prior suffering and replace them with beautiful bulbs that will flourish into the most amazing garden of truth? Eckhart Tolle says, surrender here. Surrender is the most simple and profound wisdom when we yield rather than oppose the flow of life, when we yield into it. The only place where you can experience the flow of life is now, Eckhart Tolle. What happened before, we can just let it go, put it down, surrender it. Surrender so to accept the present moment so unconditionally, so wholeheartedly, without any reservation, and relinquish that inner resistance of what is. True surrender. Absorbing this consciousness of the divine, allowing us to be inspired by the messages of truth in relation to our financial good. Even when we think we are so right about what we have held, a belief, if we feel that it's looking at the good and we have to say, is it ultimately good? Is it going to really help the greater good of all? That is a question that only you can discern, but it's a question that you need to ask yourself and to see if our life choices are really allowing the full givingness of all. So we want to keep operating on an adventure of seeing how we can do this. Get clear is the first step. Deeply clear on a foundation of faith in a new understanding. Charles Fillmore says this is energizing polarity as wisdom and love. We do have this wisdom of the vision, the wisdom of clear thinking, unfettered by old dysfunctional beliefs. And we have the power of love, the desire for the idea, the want to express through us. As we both expand our experience of life, joyful creation expands. So we vision, we meditate, we contemplate, we determine what it is that we are seeking and why. Declare then that you are in the flow and you allow how it's going to happen. That's where you give it up to the divine. That's when you just offer it up and say, I accept and I receive. On behalf of this center, it has been my holy prayer for that this center thrives through all of the conditions, through COVID, through separations of people, through all the events that have ever touched the heart of this center. We thrive. We thrive because the hearts here are invested in a good that is a beacon of light for the town to come to and to say, I found refuge here, I found healing, I found my worth here. So keep asking the questions and dive into the mystery. These are the kind of questions. They might stir in you just a little bit, but think about your contemplations this week. What is filling my consciousness? Do I hold a belief and a rule about what God wants? Do I believe money is as sacred and spiritual as everything else? It's a great starting point. Do I believe I have value and worth, and am I entitled? Am I entitled to live well? Do I believe I shouldn't live well because others aren't? Do I hold back the energy of life in order to fit in, to keep my head down, to be invisible? Or do I learn? Do I learn a new way from my childhood? Do I believe in some God's going to punish us and take our good if we get too big for our britches? Do we believe the ebb and the flow of the infinite, ever-present supply? Do we believe that we can prosper even in the bad times, the difficult times? Do we have a habit of getting rid of money as quickly as it comes because it makes us nervous? Or do we tuck it away and forget and get surprised when we open up a jar? Ah, there's a $100 bill in here. Go figure. Where's another place I can hide it? You know, what do we do with this good that flows to us? Do we cling, hoard out of fear? Just watch yourself with these answers. What are you telling the universe about how you're showing up for this divine gift, this divine flow? Because the universe is saying yes. Yes, here, take this. What is longing to be released here is universal flow, and we can make that happen. There's the idea of absorbing everything that's beautiful. Just allow yourself. I love this image, and it came from one of the readings of Wells of Abundance, and he said, live in the now and learn to absorb everything beautiful, from music to the fragrance of a flower. It all feeds your inner nature, your inner oneness. So I say yes to the beautiful pine fragrance that will absorb my being, because it was a gift of love out of nowhere. She even said, I don't know why I'm giving this to you. Grabbing it, I said, well, because I want it. No. Because I'm willing to say yes. So what is ever longing to be expressed through you, and pay attention to that, because this natural flow of the divine is transforming us all the time. It's transforming the nature and the heart of this center so that we can open-heartedly just ask, so that we can receive. And the cards are out on the table. You'll be receiving one in the mail as well. And we ask you to sit with it in meditation. It's all about the spirit of generosity this year. What is mine to give? And we start somewhere, and then we realize throughout the year we can always give more or we can give less. We're not going to be knocking at your door or giving you a phone call. It's just a gift, manna from heaven. And we say thank you even before the card is filled out. So let's go in a prayer now and have, you've been waiting, I've been talking. An abundance of words, apparently, Sue. Oh, let's relax. Oh, just for a moment, because there's no real words. There's no words that I can ever find that are the ones that will activate and be the catalyst for you, unless you're willing to surrender and just to open to the divine, to feel your whole body, the pores of your skin absorbing the beauty and the love that has filled these sanctuary walls for years and years upon years, for the many messages that have passed through, all of the people that have dedicated their heart and mind and soul to speaking a truth that allows our lives to feel complete and full and worthy of expression and creativity. We are the ones. I say that week after week. We are the ones that champion this truth and walk with such courage into some of the times where we are faced with roadblocks. But we know our way around. We know our way through. We know our way over. We know our way under, because we are filled with a divine potentiality that says yes. Yes in your life for whatever your deepest heart's desire is. And when you act upon that, you are the love. You are the peace. We are the love. We are the peace. I am the love. I am the peace. And so I thank God right now for an opportunity, as I recognize as we continue to seek that right and perfect minister here, my days are numbered. but I will never stop loving, never stop speaking a truth and a support for how much I value the seva, the selfless service, the love, the friends, the fellowship that has filled my life with purpose. So thank you, God, for the ways it comes and the way it flows. Let our vision be so multiplied with financial good that we can serve the world with greater confidence. I release my word knowing it is done. I believe in it so, and I surrender to that, and so it is. Thank you.
I wanted to see if when I plugged that in, it was going to explode something in the back. Thank you, Sue. It's a long way out, turning home, rivers all are wide. The answers that you found sometimes hurt your pride. And looking in the mirror, some stranger tells you that you tried. So you turn and make your way into the morning. The morning where everything is new. To the morning where the light will shine on you. The morning where you try once more to be true. As you turn to make your way into the morning. With your broken vessel empty, still you search for some place to go. You boasted of the strength you've shown, as if it were your own. Give credit now where credit's due. You've never been alone when you opened up your eyes into the morning. To the morning where everything is new. To the morning where the light will shine on you. The morning where you'll try once more to be true. Yes, you turn to make your way into the morning. Well, I'll say no more as life turns into light upon the way. Words cannot explain the truth, nor clearly show the way. But loving is the teacher who comes to us each day as we begin to make our way into the morning. To the morning where everything is new. The morning where the light will shine on you. The morning where you try once more to be true. Yes, you turn to make your way into the morning. Thank you so much. I just want to. What I was thinking was something for the last song. May the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a by the window on a cold and cloudy day. When I saw that hearse come rolling for to carry my mother away, sang these words, may the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Now here's just one. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Well, I looked, what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. It was a band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Now if you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home, tell my friends I'm coming on too, coming for to carry me home. All right, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Now here's my commitment. Well, if I get there before you do, coming for to carry me home, well, I'll cut a hole and I'll pull you through, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home, coming for to carry me home. You know, I was hoping that would be a little bit of fun. Now I've got a thumb pick coming here, and I want to have it so I can get the bass to talk to me. But this one's called Borrowed Time. It's one that I wrote when I was working too hard. Well, you know this work don't ever end, just goes on and on, just the way it always been, it's the way we get along. Can you tell me once again and try to tell me slow, when do I lay this burden down? Please tell me if you know. I'll tell you now and I'll tell you true, if I know time is free, give to Caesar Caesar's due, but listen now to me. Borrowed time, it's borrowed time. This time we spend together now, I swear it's borrowed time. Seems there is no way to win, is no finish line. Foolish people thick as sin try to tell you how to spend your time. Well, look into your family's eyes before you turn to go. Your heart will tell you what is true, just what matters most. So I'll tell you now, I'll tell you true, you find no time is free. Give to Caesar Caesar's due, but listen now to me. Borrowed time, borrowed time. This time we spend together now, I swear it's borrowed time. Borrowed time. blessings and she did what you could do. Or you'll curse the day that you walk away, leave them where they stand. Threw away love's only day as time slips through your hands. So I'll tell you now, and I'll tell you true, you find no time is free. Give to Caesar Caesar's due, but listen now to me. Borrowed time, it's borrowed time. It's time we spend together now, I swear it's borrowed time. Borrowed time, borrowed time. This time we spend together now, I swear it's borrowed time. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. That was borrowed time, well spent. Yes. There you go. Get my stuff out of your way.
Will the ushers please come forward? This offering is a symbol of our gratitude. We give thanks for all we have, for this teaching, this center, and for the truth which guides our lives. And so it is. We are grateful for this, our spiritual home, and the teachings which sustain us. And so we joyfully share our abundance. And so it is.
George, do you have one more closing song? Need we ask? Do you want us to stay seated or jump out of the walls?
Oh, well, let's, jumping out of a wall sounds good. We may need to get the hook if you want to get me off the stage. Okay. One more time, the thumb pick. It's lovely to see you all, and this is Wade in the Water, and I'm hoping you'll like it. Wade in the water, Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See those children dressed in red, God gonna trouble the water. Must be the children that Moses led, God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Now, who's those children dressed in white? Wade in the water. Must be the children of the Israelites. I'm gonna trouble the water. Now, wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Those children dressed in blue, wade in the water. Must be my people coming through. In the water. Hey, that's a kid. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. You don't believe I've been redeemed. Wade in the water. I just seen the Holy Ghost looking for me. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble. God's gonna trouble.
That was fun, huh? That took me a flashback. I waded in the water, but it wasn't really water. It was sewage. What an awful memory. My friends were going to go over the railroad trellis, and I said, oh, that's dangerous. And I couldn't convince them not to do it. I said, let's just go across this little waterway here. As I was halfway through. And then I saw the sign. Oh, I can't believe I did that. But I was already halfway. What do you have to do when you're halfway? Go all the way. And they made it across, so it's all good. It's a good ending of the story. So thank you. Thank you, George, Judy, and everyone here in service today. Enjoy the fellowship. The bookstore is open, and my love to you. Thank you.